Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the B Team. It is a We Learned Wednesday as I try to fix this microphone. Ryan Brauninger, Richard Zane, and we welcome back your producer's favorite producer, Cade Bickham, everybody. Cade, welcome back, dude. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I'm sorry I missed yesterday. I had to pick up my roommate from the Houston airport, and traffic was, it wasn't bad on the way down, but it was pretty bad on the way back. So
yeah, you missed a big league guest.
I know. I am disappointed that I missed that guest, honestly.
Don't worry, he'll probably be back once my wife goes to work, and we are going to need somebody, aka you or the girls back there, to look after him while the show's going on. So you're going to get a crash course in trying to make a fussy baby happy.
We'll figure it out as we go then.
It's a good way of skirting everything. All right. Got some stuff to get to. Hour-long program. Don't forget, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 4 to 5 during baseball season. We will be right here with you. Take you home from your day at work or as you're bringing the kiddos around to various practices, whatever you got going on in the afternoons. That's what we're here to do, is try to entertain you for about an hour. We are still without a sponsor of this show. I'm not surprised, given the talent level and ability of this show, but I am.
What are you saying?
Saying you stink, and so does Cade.
Fair. I have
and then I'm carrying this thing. I brought my own kid on this show to try to schmooze the advertisers, and nobody took the bait. This is all right through it.
Well, it's kind of like what we talked about yesterday. Things you don't care about, the sponsors don't care about.
They don't care about my kid. And to their credit, I said yesterday that I don't care about other people's kids.
Fair.
And again, this is a We Learned Wednesday.
Both ways.
We got a We Learned Wednesday, and I don't have any interesting facts because my day was filled with family portraits, family photos, professional family photos for you. Those are upcoming, Cade, at some point in your future. These are upcoming for you as well. These are things that you don't get to say no to. Well, and whenever you marry a woman, there are things that you just don't get to say no to anymore. And after you have a kid, especially whenever she says, I'm paying X amount of dollars for him to have professional photos done, you're going with me, we're dressing up and we're taking photos. You don't get to say no to that.
Kind of happened to me last week. We went and took engagement photos, finally. And didn't really have much of a choice. Yeah,
all right, when are we doing it? I think we did a pretty nice job of not taking any photos today or putting up any, some of these newborn photos, they get a little wild with the scenes they put him in. Now, my wife calls him Bo Bear. So we did put him in this little brown fluffy suit, and it's like a beanie with bear ears on it.
Uh-huh.
And the background was some woods. So that one might be a little bit, whenever he gets older, you're like, what is that? That's ridiculous. We had the baseball one. We did some A&M photos. He did one. It's so sick. It looked like it's like a cross between a 1920 or a 1930s, 40s newspaper beat writer and a Peaky Blinder. But it's a sick photo. So we just got the album.
One of the old hats.
Oh yeah. Okay. And these people that do newborn photography, that's a skill. To get the baby, we could not have ever in our wildest dreams have imagined a way to get our son to get into these poses and be comfortable. But they have towel warmers, they have bed warmers, they have shush machines. It's all going on at once. And the babies just kind of melt and do whatever these photographers want. I'm like, hey, can you teach us how you're doing this? Because he went to sleep like that. And she got to take all of her photos. But that's what I spent most of my day doing. So I don't have a cool fact or in today's date and history sort of We Learn Wednesday. But what I have learned is that I might have a new number one snack of all time.
Hit me. I'm interested.
There's a battle going on between sweet and savory. And I'm a little bit ashamed of the sweet one because it may have been on this show in the past that I have denounced this snack. And now it is climbing up my ranks. So I'll start with with the savory, which is something we have had on this show, is the Dots pretzels.
Oh,
the
they're
red
so
bag,
good.
bold
the
and
OGs,
savory.
Yeah, those are amazing.
We've
got them upstairs.
I like the other flavors are fine, but the originals, you eat them with anything. They're so good, and you just can't stop. So the Dots original bold and savory pretzels climbing up the top of my list. I love them with like chicken salad, hummus. Am I not pronouncing that correctly?
Why are you asking me? Huh?
You made a face.
It's hummus.
Oh, hummus. I like them with hummus. I like them with pickles. I like them with burgers. I like them with steak. It doesn't matter. Like, these are versatile and easy, delicious snacks. I also learned that I'm an Oreo cakester guy.
Oreo cakesters are awesome. Is that the new one?
Yes.
That's your new favorite?
Because at
They're
one point,
fantastic. They went away for a bit and then they came back. It was a staple in the Zane household when I was like in high school when they first came out.
They're hard to put down.
They're one of my sister's favorites. And the good news is when they package them, it's 2 at a time.
Yes.
So you got to be disciplined enough to stop making the constant trips to the pantry, which it sounds like you are not.
Because if they put them in a sleeve like regular Oreos, it'd be problematic for me in my house.
Yeah.
And I have not had them with any source of dairy or any kinds of milk yet. I'm just not a big milk drinker, but I can imagine like that would be the perfect vessel to wash it down with. And I sit there and I look at these delicious Oreo cakesters and wonder, do they do a double stuffed? These are the things my fat brain thinks. Do they do a double stuffed Oreo cakester? Kate, can you look that up? You have nothing else better to do, I'm sure, than to see if we've got double stuffed Oreo cakesters.
He does have something better to do, but go ahead.
I know. I'm just giving him a hard time. He has no thoughts.
He's no thoughts.
He's locked
today.
He's locked
and he's done a good job this afternoon.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Kate. You always do a good job.
So that's what I've learned is I'm now an Oreo cakester guy.
Who had a better haircut this afternoon? Robbie Bourdon, who did a huddle interview with you just before the show started, or the Fade Bickham?
Well, that's Fade Bickham. Robbie Bourdon's got this like little Tennessee mullet going on.
It's pretty sick.
Well, he's from Tennessee, so it makes a lot of sense.
That's what I want all my offensive linemen to have haircuts like that.
We were talking, and he mentioned Zayden Crimpin in the interview. So if you're a TexAgs subscriber, you will see this interview with Robbie Bourdon go out just a little bit. But he talks about Zayden Crimpin. Kay, what you said, you like your offensive lineman to be like a little bit grimy, a little bit dirty.
No, all he said was he likes him to have that haircut.
Well, that's what he meant.
I'm
expounding on what that means.
Good expound. Yeah.
Zayden Crimpin is like the throwback 1978 Pittsburgh Steelers offensive lineman. He's gonna wear the face mask with the bar down the middle,
like the Jack Campbell type look.
Yes.
I know Jack Campbell was a linebacker, but yeah.
And he's got Jack Lambert, right?
Or Jack Lambert. Yes,
Yeah,
my
Jack
apologies.
Lambert. Jack Campbell's the current linebacker for the Lions.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack Lambert, but like bar down the middle of his face mask. Gonna be like maybe missing a tooth. Mullet, tattoos, like this guy's old school. So probably won't play this year. True freshman offensive linemen in this league typically don't. But I've kind of got like I'm interested to see what Zayden Crimpin looks like in 18 to 24 months. I want that guy playing for Texas A&M's on the offensive line.
Sounds like Brauny might have a man crush.
No, I just like it, old school throwback. Like they don't make them like that anymore.
So because Jack Campbell got brought up on the show, I have to mention that I almost got a Jack Campbell jersey by mistake because somebody, my fiance, went on the Lions shop and thought it was a Dan Campbell jersey.
Would you wear a Mark DeRosa jersey?
Am I dead in this scenario? Like, am I dead?
Somebody else put it on you?
Before we get to that, I looked it up. No double stuffed Oreo cakesters.
Can you ask the AI why?
I didn't look it up on. I just looked it up on Google and it just showed the normal ones, and so I didn't see a double.
That's a tragedy.
We may have just come up with a bajillion-dollar idea for who makes Oreos now. Is it still Nestle?
I think it's Nabisco, isn't it?
Nabisco?
It was always been Nabisco.
You never know. I like Coca-Cola bought a bunch of food companies too. So anyway, Mark DeRosa. That's where we're going to start with our sports conversation today. A lot of baseball. There's going to be a lot of baseball this spring. We'll talk March Madness tomorrow. Get into maybe a little bit of the basketball stuff today. But last night, I started watching it at Bluebell Park. I had to exit Bluebell Park. I left right after the Aggies' 7-run inning. I had to go home and help with Wildman, but kind of keeping up with it on my phone and while I was at Bluebell Park, and then turned it on the TV when I got home. And look, I'm not – it's disappointing. I'm disappointed that the U.S. lost. It's not some sort of national tragedy that they lost one baseball game to a really talented team. Like,
yeah, sure,
that's just the game. But when you go back and you look at the tournament in totality, I don't like advocating for people to get fired, especially guys that I don't know. Mark DeRosa managed – how many total games did he manage? 4 in pool play?
4 and then
less
3,
than
so
10.
7 games.
Less than 10. But he also managed that same amount
couple exhibition games
in 2023.
Too. Yeah.
So he's got about a 15 to 20 game.
I don't remember him being
resume.
as clueless 3 years ago.
Here's my thing is like, here's the questions that I think we've got to ask is, does USA Baseball care enough to make a move for the manager of the national team? Number 2, would we be talking about him getting let go from this job if he hadn't screwed up the Italy game and the lead into it?
2, I think the answer is no. I think the answer is also no if he had won last night. All sins had been forgiven, right? Even with the Italy snafu.
Yeah,
if they had won last night, it would have been forgiven, right? But after that debacle and everything he said in the media and everything he continues to say when a camera's in front of his face while he's wearing the USA Baseball jersey, because I know he does do TV for a living, it's not a good account of himself or his baseball knowledge. Undoubtedly, he's played how many years in the big leagues? He's got a baseball wealth of knowledge that far exceeds mine, but he's not doing a great job of displaying it in game and post game when he has to speak. There's a quote going around after last night, and I know what he's trying to say. He was asked about Mason Miller, and the Padres only wanted him to be used in a save situation. And the way he spoke about it is, and I don't know if you're taking it out of context, but the way it sounds is it's as if he was planning to use Miller in the 10th had they taken the lead in the 9th. I know that's not what he's saying. I know Mason Miller would have been in the game in the top of the 9th had USA taken the lead in the bottom of the 8th. But it's when he speaks, it doesn't sound that way. He's just not doing a good job. I don't even know if he can go back to talking about the game on TV.
Yeah,
after this.
And that's, that gets back to the original question of why was he chosen in the first place? Why was Mark DeRosa picked as the manager of the USA national team, senior national team, in the first place whenever USA basketball can have an actual coach and one of their best ones be the coach of the national team? USA hockey can do the same thing. And I was texting back and forth with some buddies about it last night, and they're like, well, the baseball season's about to start. And I was like, the hockey season started in October.
But hockey also takes a break. Hockey takes a break for the Olympics. It was a month long. We were without hockey for a month. And there was no training camp leading up to it. They did their training camp for USA Hockey, and it had pretty much picked the pool of players that were going to go back in July.
Well, I just think when you look across this other side of the field last night, and you look at Omar Lopez, a guy that was in coaching for 30-something years. He was in the Astros organization for a long time. He managed their bullpen, the Venezuela bullpen, perfectly in the semifinal and the final. Now, look, I'm not laying the sins of the USA offense at the feet of Mark DeRosa. Like, I don't know what you want.
That'd be unfair.
I don't know what you want the manager to do when you've got a lineup full of superstars that just doesn't produce. They went 12 straight innings without getting a runner into scoring position.
That's terrible.
And save for one swing from Bryce Harper, they were brutal again last night.
Yep.
And that's a bunch of superstars who, now that they're taking off the USA jersey, they're going to go put on the Cubs or they're going to put on the Phillies. Like, they're going to go hit 40 home runs and drive in 100 runs during the regular season. And it's going to make me a little upset. But so I go back to that first question I asked is how much does USA Baseball care? Because when you watch the celebration from Venezuela last night, there's no doubt about how much that tournament meant to those players and meant to the Venezuelan fans. Like these guys are in not even like a little bit happy tears. These guys are full on crocodile tears, like boo-hooing.
Ugly cries.
They're yes.
Ugly cries.
Good point. They're ugly crying.
It looked like it meant more to like almost everyone except the U.S. team. To be completely honest, like there was not as much passion as I would have liked to see out of the U.S. players and fans, honestly.
And that's another thing that I just, there are different managers. They coach their clubs. They interact with their players in different ways. And I'm not saying one way is more right than wrong. I'm just saying I didn't like Mark DeRosa coming out of the dugout, into foul ground with the rest of the players last night after Bryce Harper hits the home run and he's chest bumping the guy. I just don't think that's the manager's.
No.
I don't think that's how he should interact with the game, with the players. I think he probably felt a lot of the pressure. He probably heard a lot of the outside noise. And he knew what kind of criticism he was going to get if he did not win the championship of the tournament. And so when Harper bailed him out, he's like, hey, this is my light at the end of the tunnel. This is my saving grace. I'm going to avoid all of this criticism. And it all came out. Like I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. And I probably shouldn't, given how he's acted and some of the stuff like you mentioned that he said in front of the media.
Not a good look. Just not a good look. I'm curious that I think USA Baseball has to go in a different direction because the next big tournament is the Olympics in 2 years in Los Angeles, and winning an Olympic gold medal on home soil is an important thing. I mean, that's look at what it meant to the hockey program.
Well,
look at what it meant to hockey.
I agree wholeheartedly with you.
And
if we're going to send players to go do this, you can't be one foot in, 1 foot out. And Tariq Skubal, if you're going to come pitch, you're there the whole time.
So I want
to drive down from Clearwater.
Calm down.
Don't drive down from Clearwater and put the jersey on and just sit in the dugout.
I want to touch on that, okay? Calm down. The Olympics are going to be a different team. It's going to be a different team. It's probably going to be minor leaguers, maybe college kids, because it's going to happen during the Major League Baseball season. And I can't imagine these organizations are going to release their top guys, their superstars, to go play in a 16 tournament in LA. So I think you need a different face, a different leader who can manage all of that in Los Angeles for the Olympics. Mark DeRosa is not that guy. Now, the next time the World Baseball Classic comes around, the next time we get to actually see best on best and we actually get to see big leaguers playing in red, white, and blue, I want the organization to double bird Major League GMs and say, no, in a tie game in the 8th inning, I'm going to my best guy. I'm going to manage this game like a Game 7. On the off chance, the small percentage Mason Miller suffers an injury, we're going to do it for glory and for the red, white, and blue and for the flag and for the country. The Padres, the Dodgers, the Astros, insert Major League Baseball club here. Screw you. We're trying to win a world championship. And before you say it doesn't matter, look at the celebration of the Venezuelans.
Exactly.
It matters.
It would have. The Dominicans.
Miguel Cabrera is a World Series champion.
Miguel Cabrera drank 50 beers last night.
He is the hitting coach, and he is full on tears. It should matter to the Americans that way. It should matter to the American GMs of these major league organizations that way. Go win it all. Don't handcuff our national team because you're worried about finishing third behind the Dodgers and Giants this season.
I agree. And that's another thing that you could, if you're in defense of Mark DeRosa, I went and looked it up last night. If you think that the world has caught the United States in baseball, I'd ask you to go back and look at some of the league leaders last year. Cade, did you know that in 2025, 11 of the top 15 players in OPS were American? One of those 11 is Freddie Freeman, who was born and raised in America but plays for Canada, right? Yes. But still, 11 of the 15 top OPS leaders were American. They were born in America. They were raised in baseball in America. That's a really high percentage. Go to the pitchers. 12 of the top 15 in ERA are American. Now, here is what Mark DeRosa is dealing with. And this, I'm reading a tweet from John Heyman, an MLB writer for the New York, let's see, who is he with? The New York Post. He also is an insider for the MLB Network. He tweeted this last night about Nolan McLean, who was great.
Yes, he was.
And he looks like another great American arm.
And I was, hand up, worried about him entering the game. He was really good. He was really good. I just worried about a rookie who wasn't good in his first start, pitching on that stage in that game with those stakes. And to his credit, he answered the bell and did his best for his country, and I respect the hell out of that.
Nolan McLean has, this is the tweet from John Heyman, Nolan McLean has the right makeup and maturity for this WBC final, but here are a few of the starting pitchers Team USA tried to recruit but couldn't get. Listen to these: Hunter Brown, Garrett Crochet, Max Fried, Dylan Cease, Sonny Gray, Andrew Abbott, Brian Wu. If we're going to do this, I know there was some of the Latin American players, like Jose Altuve didn't play for Venezuela because of the insurance thing. I know here and there that was sprinkled amongst the rosters, or a better term, I guess, would be the guys not on the roster, the star players from Venezuela, Dominican, Puerto Rico that weren't on some of these rosters, was due to that the insurance claims if they did get hurt. But outside of that, they didn't have their star players opting out.
Nope.
I mean, the Dominican Republic, Paul Skeen said that's the best lineup I'll ever face.
That lineup was ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
Ryan Brauninger had to face that lineup.
And they don't have opt-outs, and it goes to your point of how much it means to the Venezuelans. We saw, like, the Puerto Ricans, they all dye their hair. Like, this is their college baseball opportunity that they're getting, and maybe that's, they don't get to play together like some of these guys do in college, where it's not about how much money you're making. It's about, the brotherhood inside the clubhouse and the locker room and the camaraderie with your guys. And I know the Team USA players said all that. And I think they wanted to win. Like, I don't think that they were whatever about last night. Like, I'm not saying that at all. But I do think that there is a take it or leave it, laissez-faire attitude about guys participating in this tournament.
Yeah.
I think offensively, who was the U.S. missing offensively that you were like, man, I wish that guy would have played?
I mean,
Mookie?
The tournament changes. No, because Mookie Betts isn't going to play shortstop on that team.
Yeah, but he could have played left field, but Roman Anthony was awesome.
And that's the thing. I was going to say, Corbin Carroll's hurt. You can't really blame him. Think about how much different the tournament looks if Corbin Carroll plays for the United States and Roman Anthony plays for the Italians. Oh. The Italians might be champions right now.
What about, like, George Springer, like, for some depth?
Yeah, like, it would have been nice to, like, I'd have taken him over Byron Buxton, who Buxton had a really high OPS last year and was coming off of, like, I think age 31 season. That was his best statistically, but man, he looked completely washed in this tournament. And that's another thing. You want to be critical. Like, you can go back and forth on this Mark DeRosa deal, and that's why we're spending almost 30 minutes on it, is he made the decision to play matchups last night in a game where, he started Alex Bregman at third base because he hit right-handed. He started Byron Buxton in center field because he hits right-handed. Well, you're replacing Gunnar Henderson, who was hitting over 400 in the tournament, and you're replacing Pete Crow Armstrong, who homered twice in a game in the tournament. And PCA looks like maybe the best young outfielder in the world, like the next wave of outfielder. He and Roman Anthony, right? And you ditched kind of like how your team was trending to play matchups, and Bregman was bad all tournament. Buxton was brutally bad all tournament. And so, like, there were free outs in the order, and you were just kind of waiting for them to change sides on pitchers before you made the decision to put PCA and Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson didn't hit until the bottom of the ninth.
How much easier?
The guy was hitting 429 in the tournament, Cade. And you left the guy who hit 63 home runs on the bench.
So I'm looking through.
And Cal Raleigh didn't hit anything, but neither did Bregman, neither did Buxton. Why couldn't Cal Raleigh get one of those swings?
Yeah, give him at least a pinch hit opportunity.
I'm looking at the rosters from last year's All-Star games. Brent Rooker, Stephen Kwan, Pete Alonso, Matt Olson, how much easier is your job at first base when Bryce Harper's going bad if those two guys are your backup instead of Paul Goldschmidt?
One of them's a right. He played Paul Goldschmidt in that Italy game, right?
Yeah, he did.
Paul Goldschmidt's a legend. The Woodlands, Texas State Bobcat. Paul Goldschmidt's awesome. He's past it, man.
I can't really say anything about Bryce Trang. I thought he played well.
Bryce
second
Trang
base,
can hit, yeah.
But Brandon Lau, however you want to pronounce it. Where's Kyle Tucker? Dodger. Where's Kyle Tucker? And then the big one for me, how much better is this team if Riley Green's one of the outfielders instead of Buxton?
Yeah,
or even PCA. But PCA had a good tournament. Why isn't PCA starting?
That's what I just said. He went matchup because Venezuela started a left-hander, so he didn't want to run Gunnar Henderson, who was great, out there. He didn't want to run PCA, who had been great, out there because he played matchups. So in a truncated tournament like that, like to me, you play the hot hand.
Yeah,
I'll play matchups over the course of 162. Like I get it, but when your sample size is cut down, that you know the overall data is not going to change much. I'll play the guy like what do my eyes tell me in a tournament like that? I think your eyes tell you more than the numbers do. So, and then like,
so you brought up the good point. You brought up the insurance issue, and I hadn't thought about this until we just sat down. World Baseball Classic, the biggest goal of the entire event is to grow the game globally, right? And we can all agree that that is a great initiative.
And they've done that.
They've done a good job of it. But seems as if Major League Baseball and its owners and its front offices can't get out of their own way. And I'm a novice and I'm ignorant to it. So I don't know what it's like when these ginormous football stars go play club and country in the same season, whether it be playing in a Champions League match on a Wednesday. And then, oh, guess what? A little bit later, here in a week and a half, we're going to have an international break, and I'm going to go put on my nation's colors. What are the insurance policies like over there compared to here? Why are we not letting our biggest stars, whether it be the Venezuelans with Jose Altuve or the Puerto Ricans, they had a huge issue. Their team looks much different if they don't get handcuffed by the insurance policy. I don't know how many players on the United States side were handcuffed by the insurance policy. That could have been a factor. But we can't get out of our own way to go let our game's biggest stars play on the biggest international stage. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't.
I think the roster, it had Roman Anthony, it had PCA. These are going to be staples of what USA Baseball is going to be going forward. But they leave off Nick Kurtz. I'd have taken Nick Kurtz over Paul Goldschmidt as your second first baseman. That's another left-handed hitter. Yep. But that guy might hit 45 homers this year.
Yeah, guy's a stud.
So I just think there were holes in the roster. And again, maybe his hands were tied by GMs. But
it's terrible.
And the tournament was fantastic. It was like must-see TV. That USA-Dominican game was incredible.
Venezuela-Japan
was
awesome.
Yeah,
probably game of the tournament.
Theater. But if we're going to do this, I want to see them do it with no restrictions. I want to see Paul Skeens against the Dominican. If he's giving up one run through 4 or 5 innings, like, can he get you to 7 or 8? Like, let him go and let him pitch.
The pitch count thing was a little bit ridiculous. I will admit. I think that was kind of stupid, but it should be like, I know Canada lost to the US in the final for hockey, but look at that. Like, that's what your roster should look like for an international tournament. It should have the best in the game for your country playing for your team.
And the NHL had a problem with that for a little while too, Cade, because we missed 3 Olympic cycles without NHL players, without best on best at the Olympics. That's insane. And look just at what the excitement in this country, this part of the country too, for hockey has grown since we won the gold medal. Imagine what baseball could do if all of our best were all in and we went and won an international tournament against the other country's best in the world. That's huge. I remember watching them win in 2013, right?
I would love
2013, 2017.
The only American manager to win a World Baseball Classic.
Jim Leland.
Smoking cigarettes in the dugout. Yes.
Stud.
But I'd like to see the U.S. and really, I don't know that they have like a personality. Like, they're really good, and you know, a lot of their talent on the field outweighs the personality. But you watch the Latin American countries play; they have like a swagger, the way they want to play. And I'm not saying I don't think the USA should play that way at all. It's kind of not how our game goes over here. But the Japanese guys, they play together like they have their own identity, and I just don't know that this the USA teams, other than just being star power loaded, they have much of an identity.
Yep, I think. Well, he's the captain. I'm not sure it's his fault, but Aaron Judge.
He caught a lot of strays last night.
He doesn't have a lot of personality.
It's because he's not clutch. He's not clutch ever.
That's to my point is, I think that might have been Aaron Judge's best chance to win a championship.
I mean, we'll get into
it's going to be very similar to the narrative that was surrounding Austin Matthews. I know you're not up on him, but captain of the Maple Leafs, don't think he's going to win too much up there. They haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1967. It's been how long since the Yankees won a World Series? And when they got to the World Series most recently, he dropped a pop fly. Like, I'm not sure he's going to. And look at the American League right now. Look at his own division. The Yankees might be in a dogfight for third.
Well, and one of the things that I liked about the World Baseball Classic was the Machado guy out of the Venezuelan bullpen. He was pitching in Japan last year. He earned himself. Like, he is going to get picked up by a major league roster.
It's awesome.
Like, that is a really cool story. And like, where else would he have had this platform to go do this against the best of the best from across the world? And he's fuzzing balls in there 98 to 100 and blowing guys away. And then Palencia.
Yeah.
That dude's stuff was incredible.
Brauny, did you see that video of Palencia, like, before he threw the last pitch of the game last night? Like, he was like crying on the mound. Like, there was there were already tears in his eyes, like, while he was like throwing that before he threw that last pitch.
That's so cool. And, you know, he throws really hard, but it wasn't like 102 like Mason Miller. He was throwing 96 to 98 with, it looked like 4,000 RPMs on the fastball. Like, he just blowing guys' doors off.
The backspin was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's like if the catcher didn't catch it, it was going to rise all the way to the 20th row.
Like some Bryce Miller-esque backspin.
Yeah, so it was, you know, it was so cool to watch the Venezuelans play that way, but disappointing for the Americans, and does make you think about what they're going to do for USA baseball going forward. I'm super interested in it. I'm not necessarily calling for Mark DeRosa's job, but if you want to tell me they got to get him out, I would say, yeah, after the Team Italy thing and them not knowing, him and his staff not knowing what was at stake in that pool play game. Now, it ended up working out. Italy beat Mexico, so you didn't need to go into the differentials, but it could have been really, really bad. Yeah. Really, really bad. And they can say that they knew the rules after the fact, but there's nothing that you did pregame or during the game that told everybody we understand the importance of having to win this game. Yep. So I think that is a major, major chink in any kind of armor that he is going to have to try to keep that job. But again, I don't know if the people that run USA Baseball care enough. Do they care enough to make a move?
We'll see. We will see.
So I'm disappointed that that's over, but you know, we have a ton of baseball to look forward to. I texted Richard last night. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, Cade. Like, I'm a college baseball sicko, and there are people that stay up late to watch college football games in the fall on Saturdays, and I'm one of those as well. I love a 12:35 p.m. local kick. That's a 6:35 p.m. kick on the island. Hawaii, like if I can get a Hawaii game late night, especially now that I got the kiddo, like I've got to be up anyway. Like, let's just watch some live football. And that's where I am right now. Like, so I feed him at around midnight. He takes a bottle. So like I don't like going to bed at 10 and then waking up at 11:30 to feed him and being up for an hour before I get him back down. I just stay up. So like last night I text you, who was it? Oh, Winthrop was at Pacific on a midweek game.
He texts me and I'm thinking, what are we doing? What? Why would I have this on? What?
Because I'm a college baseball sicko. I ended up flipping to Grand Canyon at Arizona State, went into extra innings. It was the sickest, most hilarious walk-off, openly laughing, audibly laughing.
Belly laugh.
Yes, cackling. At how this ended. Runner at first, 2 outs in the bottom of the 11th inning for Arizona State. Guy hits a ground ball, hits it decently hard, but it's going to be gloved down the third base line. It hits the base. Okay, remember, 2 outs, runners on the move. It hits the base and hops over the third baseman like a big hop. And when it hits the ground, all the front spin, kind of shoots it forward, but nothing crazy. The left fielder for Grand Canyon acted like it was Usain Bolt cutting the bases, right? He runs over there in total panic and tries to, like, he overruns the ball. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then he tries to two-hand it like he's Tommy Barrasso between the pipes and, like, play goalie. And he deflects the ball back toward left field. The runner from first never stops. They win the game that way. And the Grand Canyon players that were caught on camera immediately after, so they were filming Arizona State players celebrating. And as they're running by the Grand Canyon players, two of them have their palms up in the air looking at the left fielder. It was the most, and you shouldn't palms up your own teammates, but I got a big old belly laugh out of that because he completely butchered. Like, it was a unique play, but it wasn't a tough play.
Classy move by the Grand Canyon University players. Yeah.
What are you doing?
I looked it up when you texted me because I was in bed and Jenna's like, why? Like, just go to bed. Just go to bed. I'm like, Brauny said I got to see it. It lived up to the hype.
It was bad.
He like ran over. He like tries to backhand it. The ball shoots that way. I'm like, oh my gosh. The camera work and the direction looked like they should have been in Norman, Oklahoma.
Oh boy. Shout out 12th Man Productions.
Y'all are the best. Thank you.
Kate, did you watch any of that series in Norman?
Yeah, I watched a lot of it. I thought so.
Well, you only watched as much as they would let you.
Yeah. So my biggest gripe was on one specific play. Jake Dewar hit a ball pretty well to center field. I thought he hit it out into the right center gap, and it got caught by the center fielder. I didn't see the ball get caught.
Like in front of the warning track,
yeah,
right?
I was so confused. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, oh, he got all of that one. And then everybody's running back to the dugout. I was like, what the hell?
They have to change it. The graphics were always wrong.
That was Saturday, Kate.
The camera work
I remember when that
horrific.
happened because I had a friend who was up there, and after that happened, I texted them and said, if you can find the behind home plate camera kid, go up to them and kindly tell them they need to find a new career path. It's awful.
Unwatchable.
It's atrocious.
And what's going to happen is, so Oklahoma's good, and they are going to be in a lot of these high leverage series throughout their schedule at home. And, you know, they play at LSU this weekend. But let's say LSU was going up to Norman. Can you imagine? Because LSU baseball is an institution across the Sabine River. They get a ton of people watching whenever they go play on the road. Could you imagine their fan base having to suffer through that Oklahoma production?
No. It's
heinous. They have to fix that. I'm not, like, again, I'm not calling for these student workers to be fired, but maybe they need to be better trained. That was unwatchable.
It was not good.
It was unwatchable. But it's a good segue onto, we're going to talk a lot of baseball on this show in the spring. We've already talked World Baseball Classic now that that's over with. We won't probably bore you with a lot of day-to-day Major League Baseball, get into the 162. But we are going to get into a lot of baseball, college baseball, and it was a wacky night across the SEC for midweek games. And it just goes to show you that, you know, last year LSU won the national championship. I think they got run-ruled by Northwestern State in the midweek. And anything can happen in these midweek games. And so, like, if you're an A&M fan and you're worried that they went down 4-0 to Texas State, I'm sitting there going to go, like, look around the league, look around the country.
And CELU won 3-0 against Oklahoma.
Yeah, southeastern Louisiana.
They had two. I think they had 2 hits.
Oklahoma had 2 hits.
Texas had 2 hits
had 2 hits
night
as well.
Texas had 2 hits. Against
Tarleton.
I was hate watching that score too much, and then I forgot to. I didn't balance my hate watching of the Texas baseball score and the basketball score, and so
that was crazy.
I only got one.
That was a crazy game.
So yesterday around the league, as I open up my D1 baseball schedule here, you just look across the top 25, and you know, Georgia plays a tight one with the Citadel. Virginia wins against Georgetown by a couple of runs. There was Clemson 3-1 over College of Charleston. Like, all of these midweeks, or a lot of these midweeks with, you know, these non-P4 schools, these mid-majors, they sneak up and they get it. Southeastern, y'all mentioned Tarleton. You mentioned Portland beats Oregon State last night. Portland. UCLA, the best team in the country. They beat a 4-16 Pepperdine team 5-4 in a game they trailed most of it. If you cannot live and die pitch to pitch in college baseball, especially during the midweeks.
No.
How about Auburn, though? Auburn big on Georgia Tech,
Auburn's
too.
good, man. That's a big series. I think Texas goes there this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Auburn's really good.
Midweeks are hard. They can be maddening. I think that was the angle I took yesterday in my post-game column. No, it's easy to get some heartburn if you're down early, but your pitching staff is probably doing a lot of throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. I know A&M wasn't last night. If you're playing these mid-majors, their pitching staff's definitely not nearly as deep as you are, so you should be able to outlast them even if it's uncomfortable through the first 4 innings. A&M was able to do that last night. It really puts into perspective how special that 24 A&M team was. To go unbeaten, not only in midweek action, but non-conference action through the preseason and the postseason, that is insane. That is the outlier. The rule, and it's probably going to be true for the 26 Aggies, is they're going to lose a couple games to a mid-major opponent, a no-name, that you shouldn't. It's going to happen.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, there's no sin in losing to Texas State. They're pretty good.
No, they were pretty solid.
That shortstuff they've got, Dawson Park's a real player.
I really liked him. He was fantastic defensively, pretty nice night offensively, but the plays he made in the field, everything looked easy.
And A&M is lucky that they didn't get into a situation where it was tied or Texas State had the lead late, because they have got a real dude on the back end of their bullpen.
I saw you post that.
He's a true freshman. They got him out of Del Rio. I watched his outing against Washington State. It is a big league breaking ball. Big time stuff. We'll see how long that kid stays in San Marcos, because if I noticed it, everybody else around the region probably noticed it as well. So
is it like that Dylan Volantis type?
It's right-handed, but yeah, it's a big time wipeout breaking ball. Other scores around the league last night.
Kate's already scared of Dylan Volantis.
He is scary.
Indiana,
that dude is scary.
He's actually not. He's been okay as a starter.
He was better out of the pen last year, but his stuff is pretty crazy.
Indiana beats Vanderbilt. The Commodores, they take 2 out of 3 at home against LSU last weekend.
What's Vanderbilt's record?
Vanderbilt is 13-9 now. Indiana was 8-11, or excuse me, 7-12.
13-9. So they've got 9 losses on the year. They're second nationally in home runs.
It's what's weird about Vanderbilt is they've not pitched as that's one thing you could hang your hat on about Vandy is they're going to roll out just big giant arm after big giant arm, and they may struggle to score runs, but it's been the inverse of that this year. And then, times are tough in Columbia, South Carolina. The Gamecocks lose 11-8.
Oh, South Carolina. I thought I heard Missouri. I was trying to knock on wood before next week.
No, South Carolina. Columbia, South Carolina. Did I say Columbia, Missouri?
No, you said South Carolina. I just got ahead of my skis a little bit.
So the South Carolina Gamecocks are 12-10 on the season. Here are some of the teams that they have losses to. Northern Kentucky, Army, Queens. They've lost to the Citadel, and they've lost to Charlotte. They got swept by Florida. They also dropped a game to they dropped 2 out of 3 to Clemson. So that really, that's appalling for a program that won back-to-back national championships not all that long ago. But what's even more appalling is, I don't know if you or Cade, did y'all see the screenshots coming out of Founders Park yesterday?
I did. Yeah, I did see that.
I did not see
there
it.
Was maybe 30 people there.
It was sad.
That's a nice
really
little ballpark,
too. It's a really nice ballpark, and there was not a soul in the building.
Oof.
South Carolina made 4 errors, one of which looked like the second baseman might have been throwing the game. It was like a ground ball to his left. He stumbles off over nothing and then spikes the throw to first, wildly gets by the first baseman, and I'm like, what was that? But they are playing a hapless brand of baseball, and the folks there at Gamecock, you just kind of scroll through Twitter after they lose, and it's like,
it ain't going to end well.
They are ready to move on from Pulmonary. And I think that's a good baseball job. It's at a great ballpark. There's enough players in that part of the South to go get.
Well, look at Clemson. That's a direct recruiting rival, sure. And Dan Bakich has a pretty good program.
They won back-to-back titles under Ray Tanner. So
South Carolina,
there might be some factors, or at least there were when Coach Tanner moved into the AD role, that kept baseball coaches from having success under his athletic department.
Oh, yeah.
The South Carolina athletic department in general is kind of in shambles other than women's basketball.
That's true. That's true. And it's headlined by Richard's favorite college football coach.
Yeah.
Shane Beamer.
My
God, Big Beamer.
I knew when he walked off the field at halftime acting like a total doofus, this game's not over. As soon as I saw him do that, I said, it's not over. If A&M can come out and score early, he is gonna tighten. The pucker meter is gonna go way high with him, and he just can't help himself. He's such a goober. Elsewhere around the league, also Alabama loses to South Al, the Crimson Tide. That was their 7th loss of the season. Then they've played 22 games already. Alabama 15-7. They're 0-3 in the league. They got swept by Kentucky at the weekend in Lexington. And again, I understand it. If you want to feel better, if you're one of these people that look at college sports rationally and you don't live and die by the actions of 18 to 22, 23-year-olds on the weekend or during the week.
Who would do that?
And you have a rational thought in your head and you can kind of see the big picture. But if you want to feel better about the other end of the spectrum in the A&M fan base, I encourage you to go read the responses on Twitter or go check out Tiger droppings or any of the various message boards after any of these teams lose a baseball game. So Alabama 0-3 on the weekend. Then they lose to South Al in the midweek. And they are ready to punt Rob Vaughn into the sun. Remember, this is Rob Vaughn, who was rumored to be in the mix at Texas A&M, even though no coaching change happened. He's been one of the hotter young names in the SEC, did some incredible things at Maryland.
Yeah.
Had Alabama, they just haven't broke through. They haven't been able to get out of a regional since he's been there, but has had good clubs, and they are ready to fire him into the sun. And I'm like, hey, that's fine and all, but you better be careful, because it wasn't like Alabama baseball was some, juggernaut before he got there. And then if you go, this is another stadium in the SEC, nice stadium. Aesthetically, it's nice. They got chair backs all down both lines, and they've got some really cool sight lines in the outfield, and they have a tiered section in right field behind the wall. But it's not like they got a bunch of people showing up to their games either. So whereas South Carolina, I think some coaches around the country would go, man, that's a pretty attractive place. There would be somebody that would take that Bama job, maybe in the head guy at Troy, Skylar Meade, who's really good. Being in the state of Alabama, I think that's obviously a step up. But in terms of the SEC, I don't think that this Bama job compared to the other jobs is super attractive. And they don't put people in the ballpark. Well, so it's hard for me to believe that, I think they probably kept Justin LeBron because of Rob Vaughn. And so I think it's hard for me to believe that, some new guy's going to come in there and they're going to pump a bunch of NIL money and help him out with his roster.
Does Alabama put butts in seats for anything other than football? Seriously.
Basketball.
When they're good.
Yeah, they've been good. They've been good. Here he goes.
And speaking of Alabama basketball,
yeah,
man,
that's a good segue.
Really funny last couple of years with them and nonsense off the court. The Brandon Miller situation, the whole Aiden Holloway thing that just happened.
It's it's got its crossover with Georgia football a little bit. Although Georgia football is the same stuff repeated.
Well, I don't think Georgia football is like it. Georgia football is not that. Yeah, they haven't done that. It's not
allegedly.
that bad. Allegedly.
Baylor did that.
Allegedly.
No, it wasn't alleged. That was confirmed.
Georgia football players just like to drive fast.
Real fast. But that, there was that tragic accident where lost the life of was it a trainer?
I don't remember. I'm not sure.
You remember that with Georgia?
I don't remember that either.
Reckless driving, and I think it was a former player and then a current trainer that were passed away in the accident. It's awful. But yeah, Alabama basketball, I don't know. Like, to me, they run too hot and cold for me to think that they're an SEC team that could win the national championship. I think there's two, though. I think that, and Arkansas has been a real sexy pick for a lot of people, and who could blame Like, I haven't filled out a bracket yet. I probably will, last minute. But
Are we talking about basketball now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arkansas has been a real trendy pick for people to go to the Final Four, and I might have them go that far too. Darius Acuff.
I'm on that too. Darius Acuff is
incredible.
Dude. He's a dude.
They say it's March is guard dominated, and they've got really good guards. And it's like watch A&M play, and it's one of those teams we brought up a little bit yesterday, Cade. Like with Bucky in his first year, going to the tournament is incredible. It really is incredible. And so, like, I don't understand everybody getting all up in arms and getting upset when they lose to Florida or when they lose to Arkansas. Like, look at the players on the floor.
Well, people have been saying that Darius Acuff may be the best point guard that Coach Calipari has ever had.
Yeah.
And he coached like a lot of really good point guards at Kentucky, like John Wall, SGA. I'm trying to think, De'Aaron Fox. That's a stacked group of point guards, and Darius Acuff he's legit. I mean, 49 points in a college game. I know it went to double overtime, but that's unbelievable.
They've got a superstar in Acuff, and then they've got old role player. Billy Richmond's a really good player. Like they've got a lot of pieces, and they're long and athletic. They get up and down the floor. Like they get up and down the floor like an NBA team. Like the ball is in the front court pretty quickly.
They're good.
Excuse me, in the backcourt.
It would be hilarious if Arkansas won the national championship this year, second year under Cal, and they were ready to run him out of Lexington for the past decade.
Well, and now Mark Pope's kind of walking a high wire act there
Mark
too.
Pope's getting bounced in the first round by Santa Clara.
That's been another trendy. I've seen that be.
I've got him going to the second weekend.
Kentucky,
Santa Clara or Kentucky?
Kentucky. I think Kentucky's too talented to not.
Owe and Aberdeen are really good. I don't know.
And I know they haven't put it all together. They haven't. There really hasn't been a peak or a true valley for them. They've just been riding a wave the entire time. Well, I think they could get hot and get to the second weekend. They've got the talent to do so. They're going to be favorites in both the games they play.
I think you look at March Madness and you go, all right, if these teams play to their full capability, what are they? But there's not many teams that can have an off night and still win. I think Arkansas can have a bad night and still win. Florida can definitely have a bad night and still win. When Florida came in here and played, I was like, A&M's got no chance. Now, they couldn't put the ball in the basket, and they didn't shoot. I mean, probably their worst shooting performance of the year. They were awful, but it wouldn't have mattered. Like, Florida was just leaps and bounds better, bigger, longer, more athletic. Like, I had no expectation. I had no reaction to the Aggie basketball team losing to Florida or Arkansas. Like, these teams are just bigger and better. So Bucky's team has punched way above their weight.
Florida might go back if Xavier Lee and Boogie Fland play well in the tournament. I think Florida could go back to back. Like, that's
they
really
look like
good
to
team.
me. They look like the most complete team in the league.
They've peaked at the right time. They were kind of rough to start the season, but as they started getting their groove in SEC play, they peaked at the right time.
The team that I've watched a couple of times and I've really liked, but I don't want to pick them coming out of the bracket because I like other teams in that black bracket too, is Arizona. I've watched Arizona a couple of times. Like, man, they're so good.
I just picked Arizona because they're in that bracket with Arkansas.
Yeah. That's why. That's my only hesitation on picking them to go far. Is if they have to play Arkansas.
Matchup.
Yeah, it is because Arkansas is the 4.
Uh-huh.
Where you at on Michigan?
I think Michigan's going to win the national championship.
I haven't watched them enough.
I think they'll win the national championship in spite of coaching.
I think they're really good, but Elliot Cadeau, I do not trust him in the backcourt.
Who's the Luxembourg?
Yaxel? Yeah.
Yaxel. We just call him Yaxel. He's the guard. He's the guy that's going to take it over.
Fair enough. I agree.
Gudo's not the guy. It's Yaxel. Yaxel and Mara. Those 1-2, that's tough for anybody to handle. I mean, and that I'm not a huge fan of that region.
It might be the best
the
regular season.
Iowa State. I'm not impressed with Iowa State.
Iowa State's weird because they beat a lot of good teams, but then I just feel like
Texas Tech went in there and waxed them in their own building.
They don't move me. Yeah, they've beaten a lot of good teams, but they don't move me.
The Big Ten, how the Big Ten performs in this tournament, I am super intrigued by. Like, Wisconsin got real hot late, after not being great early, and they've been pretty trendy with some brackets.
They pushed Michigan to the brink in the Big Ten. But they beat them in the regular season, too.
Nebraska, Michigan State, and Illinois, all 15-5. I have not seen any of those teams get a lot of love from bracketologists in terms of making runs. So we'll see. I mean, Michigan clearly looks like a complete team. You don't go 31-3 as a Power 4 club and not have a legit chance to win the national title. No. But maybe they feasted on a down Big Ten.
Possible, but that in the games that they played, they were close with Duke. They played a really a one-off showcase ACC Big Ten matchup between Duke and Michigan in the middle of conference play. That was about maybe the middle of February,
a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
and it was a close game, but the Boozer twins just took it over.
And like Kansas, what are you going to get out of Darren Peterson? Like,
it depends on if he's going to play or not. Yeah.
Does he want to play? Does he not want to play? Houston's going to be interesting for a lot of Aggies. A&M could see him in the second round if they beat St. Mary's.
Kingston Flemings is really good.
He's so good, and they play a style where this A&M team is going to have big time problems with them if that's the matchup. If A&M beats St. Mary's, I mean, what a season! I mean.
Tournament win in his first year.
With a roster that is just nowhere near what he's going to have.
He's just tossed it together.
Yeah, and I like Kelvin Sampson. I'd like to see him win a national championship. Obviously, don't want to see him do it at the expense of A&M. But I don't like this U of H team as much as I like last year's team. But they still get to the finals, and some people have picked U of H to win the national championship.
I think I like this year's team more just because I think Kingston Flemings has more of that it factor that you want in March compared to anybody on their team.
I don't know if they defend like last year's team. That was like you couldn't even get shots up. They defended on the ball defenders were incredible at U of H. So
I've got them in my national championship.
Do we want to briefly mention Tremont Mark and the shot?
No.
The guy's just the best player in the country in the last 30 seconds.
He's just so clutch.
I'm so glad that we only have like 5 more days.
Yeah, they did play good defense.
NC State was in his face in both of those shots, and they weren't like he was running off full sprint off the dribble, pull up, hand in his face. The one before was he got stuck at the elbow, the top of the key, and like spinning jumper.
He's done it at 2 different schools. He did it at Arkansas. He's doing it at Texas.
Yeah, I was pulling for the Wolfpack because there's a lot of people at LSU that think Will Wade's now on his way to Baton Rouge, and I was hoping that NC State could prolong that a little bit and make it a little bit more dicey over there. But we'll see. They've definitely got their hopes up that they're going to make a move in basketball, which is so curious to me about. You have a national championship baseball coach who has been openly talking about. I just didn't have I couldn't compete in the portal how I wanted to coming off a national championship. And I think they're probably admitting that they missed in the portal with a couple of their players. Now you're going to go dump a bunch of money to fire Matt McMahon and hire Will Wade. And all that's going to require from an NIL standpoint and structure. And then, oh, by the way, Kim Mulkey is unhappy because she finished 4th in the league and she feels like other schools are getting better NIL opportunities for their players than she is, and she doesn't like that, and she's going to be really vocal about it. It's
bad time to be a children's hospital
or a CPA, but I guess the CPAs are how they kind of that's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, and they can make some things happen. But like, how are they going to balance that?
It's a bumpy road
over there
in the
because
state of Louisiana.
They firing Brian Kelly cost them a ton of money. Hiring Lane Kiffin cost them a ton of money. This portal class for Kiffin cost them a ton of money.
And those roads are never going to get fixed, are they?
What do you mean? Time out. Did you think they were going to get fixed?
Oh,
before?
no, I didn't. They
fire Scott,
certainly not now.
Fire Scott Woodward. Got to pay him money. Fire Matt McMahon. Got to pay him a bunch of money. Hire Will Wade. They're going to pay him a bunch of money. Like a state that it had the governor that sounded like he was an extra on the water boy clamoring that they can't afford this stuff. They'll never do contracts like they did with Brian Kelly. And all I'm seeing is expenses. So who knows where they're finding that stuff. But I'll tell you this, the number one entity in that entire state is LSU athletics. It is the powerhouse industry, and everything falls behind it. So others will suffer at the expense of LSU athletics, and they'll probably end up being really good at all those sports.
Probably.
That's how it's gone over the last probably 2 decades. in Baton Rouge. They've been good at just about everything, and just scratch your head about where the money comes from and who's turning the faucet on and off. But we'll get into more March Madness
you could
tomorrow.
Scratch your head or turn a blind eye like the entire state does.
Yeah, that's true. We'll get into more March Madness stuff tomorrow. We'll give you our Final Fours. We'll pick some games. That will probably be our predictions. And then I have a Thunderdome Thursday idea that is not gross, but will be interesting, and I think you'll want to tune in for. It will require us it will require us intaking something, putting something into our mouth.
Great.
But
I don't like the connotations behind that.
It's not going to be nasty.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, it's not something I think you have to worry about with your sensitive stomach, Cade.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Well, we are back and rolling. Like I said, that's B Team, a Wednesday edition. Right back here tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Talk March Madness. We'll get you ready for a big weekend at Bluebell Park. All that and more on the B Team tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, guys.